In my last segment, I talked about how in politics, they're desperately trying to one-up each other to win press attention. That if Bernie comes out and says, Medicare for all, and then Beto comes out a day later saying the same thing, nobody cares. They're going to be like, yeah, so what? Been there, done that. So then you get all the Democrats coming out saying, Medicare for everybody who doesn't live in this country. They try to one-up each other. And this is why I think the media is dead. It's not a phenomenon that only affects politics. It's everything. Every single story must bring you something new and one up the last bit, be it politics or otherwise. And let me show you a physical manifestation. Hold on. This video is going to be about how no one trusts the media anymore. So we have a couple stories. Here's one from September, just a few weeks ago. 13% trust media a great deal. We have this story from just the other day. Trusted media plummets further. 50% don't. It's actually much worse than that. They're being fair here. The reality is it's around 39% consider the media trustworthy. In this other study, they found only 30% trusted, only 13% trusted a great deal. I'd like to now show you the effects of one-upsmanship in media. If every story you see needs to be bigger than the last, otherwise you won't click it. It's hard to quantify if what you're reading is true. They'll say, Donald Trump is mean. The next time they got to write a story, well, we can't call him mean. We already did. What about he's prejudicial? Well, how about you just call him racist? We know he's racist. Just say it. They escalate every day. He's racist. He's the worst racist. He's the biggest racist. He's almost as bad as, high-profile racist. He's worse than high-profile racist. It's hard to know if they're being honest, but let me show you a picture. This is from the New York Post, and what you're seeing is a big-bootied woman. That's right, a big-bootied woman. Instagram model says she makes $1.5 million a year by posting big butt pics. Now, this butt is beyond the average size butt. In fact, someone says, ain't real, so don't care. And there it is. There's a subreddit called Instagram Reality. I believe it's called Instagram Reality, where we know that they're faking it. And these are insane standards that don't exist, but people are they're attracted to it. This woman's butt, her waist, her figure, it's probably not real at all, but people think it's real and they're becoming attracted because it's a one-up. It used to be a woman had a nice butt. Then someone said, well, you need a bigger butt than that, and a bigger butt than that, and eventually you get the world's biggest butt. And now you have a woman who makes $1.5 million because you got a big fake butt. That's a physical manifestation of, look, I got no problem if you like the big butt. That's fine. The point I'm saying is this is an extreme outlier, and she's making all this money because people can't take their eyes away. And so that's where we end up. So I can show you this. We're seeing trust decline. Let me read this analysis. The news media is rapidly losing the public's trust as a source of news and information about politics. Only 39% consider it trustworthy, compared with 50% who said they trust the media not too much or none. Last year, 46% said it was a trustworthy source of political news and information, and only 43% disagreed. Well, it's flipped. Now, most people think it's bad. Democrats still generally trust the news media. Yeah, it's probably why they're Democrats, okay? Listen. I was a Democrat my whole life. There was nothing else. Like, all I knew in my existence was, the Republicans seemed weird. They didn't align with my family and what we did and what we believed. Today, the news media is full of it and smearing Trump all day, every day. You don't got to like Trump to realize that. And that's the only real quantifier to what makes me not left, according to these leftists. That I don't agree with the media. I kid you not. I do a story and I say, no quid pro quo in the transcript. I read it. No one told me what to think. I don't have a boss. And they say, why are you defending Trump? You must be a conservative. No, because the media is full of it, because they're lying. I'm not surprised Democrats still generally trust the news media. You'd have to. It's the only way you'd live in this Wally world fake reality where everything's a conspiracy theory. It's nuts. Now, let's be real. I hate talking about Ukraine. We'll do it. A sworn affidavit, multiple sworn affidavits, saying that Joe Biden was, got the prosecutor fired because he was investigating Burisma or whatever. Fine. That's why he did it, because his son was working there. I don't believe the prosecutor. I think they've got reason to come after Biden, and so they can make things up. However, they swore a statement under oath. It is not about my opinion. It is not my right to determine what is true. It is about figuring out what is true through an investigation. However, for the Democrats, the news media can do no wrong. So when CNN comes out and says it's all conspiracy theories, don't believe it. Okay. Well, check out this story. This is fascinating. First, America's trust in mass media edges down to 41%. It's a different study, so we're seeing that trend, right? Our 90-second culture. And this is what I want to highlight. Looking at that big butt pic, you look at these algorithms, you look at what people need, and it's not the computers, it's not a rabbit hole, it's that people are hungry for more. That's it. You know, there was a study recently done that talked about all of these rabbit hole studies. If you're not familiar, these leftists try to claim that YouTube leads people down a rabbit hole. And the argument is that the algorithm feeds you worse and worse content. Well, that makes no sense. That's not possible. The algorithm doesn't understand what is worse than something else. The algorithm doesn't know the difference between a banana and a cucumber. It just knows the different words. So if you're talking about, like imagine this. Imagine if they wrote an article saying that people who watch food channel videos eventually became morbidly obese and ate insane amounts of food. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Like, you can't just choose politics and claim it happens. It's not what happens. What happens is a combination of factors. People try to one themselves up. I gotta make sure I do another video that's worse, crazier than the last. And sometimes that's just not the case. And sometimes your views are gonna go down. But see, a lot of people have this attachment to their view count where if it goes down, they get depression and anxiety. I kid you not, it's a fact. But in this study, they point this out. For the most part, none of these things play a role. It's that people choose to watch content. That's it. If I make a video saying, chocolate ice cream tastes good, someone has to choose to click it. If I make a video saying chocolate ice cream is the worst flavor, someone has to choose to click it. Now, you might argue this is the same for any other social network. It's not. You see, the way Facebook and Twitter works is that you get only a couple things in front of your face. The way YouTube works is that when you open the page, you get 15 videos and you're going to be drawn to what you think is interesting. Now, some people can go one direction, but there's no reason why they can't go the other. This is why I'm annoyed, to say the least, by this fake narrative. But the reality of it, and why I bring this up, is that it all falls in line with our 90-second culture. This story, they talk about how it took 90 seconds for the Covington kids to be smeared. They say, it was a high schooler. They start with good stories: 90 seconds to save someone's life, 90 seconds to evacuate a plane. But in the media, we talk about 90 seconds for Covington kids to just be standing there and then all of a sudden be turned into this evil, the ills of Donald Trump. We have two things to consider. The news cycle is ridiculously short for the most part. Stories today will never be talked about again. Remember that billionaire guy who was diddling kids and then for some reason died and the cameras broke? Hey, that's gone, right? So combine that with the game of one-upping, and you realize that all media is constantly in a perpetual state of becoming more and more extreme. Why I tell you this now, CNN has published, I think, 4 or 5 smears of Joker, of the movie Joker. And I'll tell you why it is. Because they wrote about Joker, it was interesting, people clicked it. So then they say, ooh, we want more of this. People clicked it. Say, ooh, we got to do more. Here's the problem. The problem isn't that people are clicking it, that people are interested in the Joker. The problem is you can't make something interesting if you're saying the same thing you already did. And that's a big problem for everybody. Combine that with our short attention spans. I mean, look, people are going to get over the Joker news cycle and it's going to disappear. But you also end up with fake outrage, the desperation to validate yourself. This plays into the same phenomenon in cancel culture. Somebody wants, and hoax hate crimes. I think the underlying cause of everything in the culture war is the short nature of our attention spans, the short attention span, 90-second culture combined with a desperate need to one-up. Content becomes shorter and shorter, and it's got to be more and more extreme. You get activists who want to prove the bigots are real, that white supremacy is on the rise. So they will inflame. They will lie. You see where this comes in. Everything we're seeing can be summarized in this picture of a woman with a big booty. How many women do you know have butts like that? And I know it's silly and funny. It's meant to be a little bit, but this is a real point. Very few women have that figure. And this person's saying it's fake. I don't know who this woman is, but probably fake. A fake big butt. And that's what the media is doing. Here's what I want you to do. When they tell you that white supremacy is on the rise again, look at the actual numbers and then think about this big fake butt. Now, it's one thing for her to Photoshop her body and make $1.5 million. But what if you work in politics? Well, if you want to make that $1.5 million, you gotta Photoshop something else. So they do it in the way that they can get away with it. You can't lie, but you can massage the truth, right? This story is gonna go away. This story will be gone. By the time you leave this video, you'll probably never think of that story again. And if someone else wants to make the point, they need to show you the next step, the bigger butt. And that's what everything tends to be. In order to prove that, social justice is true and righteous, well, there's got to be a villain, right? So they make it up. And then every day they make the villain worse, because it's the only way to get you to pay attention. And every day the monster grows bigger and bigger, but in reality, there's nothing there, man. There is no monster. It's the media making things up. I think all of this is just a sign. It's all going to burst. I think the bubble popped. I think it just exploded. I think the bubble has burst already, and now we're in the come down phase. Seeing Russiagate 2 Ukrainian Boogaloo, and that was for me when the bubble just went, nothing was left. All the criticisms of Trump just feel like nothing now. They've seriously wound everyone so tight, snap. Now, I was talking to someone recently, and I said, I'm not gonna cover the Ukraine stuff. I'm not playing this game anymore. Went through years of Russiagate. I'm not doing it. And I was told, well, you know what, man? We're all tired of it. It's just the same thing every day. We're all tired of it. And I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm not going to, it just, all of a sudden now, Trump could literally like throw a bag of puppies in the water and a video would come out and I'd be like, I don't believe it. It's a fake video, whatever. Don't care. Don't want to hear it. It's just you've got no credibility. I just don't want to hear it anymore. And that's what happens. If they squeeze harder and harder, eventually, there's nothing left to squeeze. It's all gone. And that's where I think we're at. I think now someone's, they've squeezed the balloon and it's popped. And now we're just in the phase where everything's falling to the ground. And eventually people are just going to be like, well, what else is on? Click. But in the meantime, hopefully, I should say hopefully that's the case. Otherwise, the escalation will continue. Anyway, stick around. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.